surface, and we shouldn't be surprised with Gonzaga. They made a habit of it.
They sure have, and they really exploded onto the scene again this year, and Dan Dickau has been the primary reason for that. He exploded in the first game against Virginia, really lit it up in 29, a factor probably this afternoon also.
As for Indiana State, first win in the NCAA tournament since the Larry Bird era, 1979, and Matt Wren a big reason why.
He really stepped up for them, and the key thing for him was he got to the free throw line 17 times. He made 12 of them, so watch him with his little bit of slashing moves to the basket.
And the starting lineups here at the Pyramid. On your left, the Sycamores, Wren, Conte, Howard, Block, and Menser. A couple of injuries to tell you about. We'll fill you in on that in a moment. And for Gonzaga, Spink, Gord, Cavalry, Stepp, and Dickau. Royce Waltman trying to get his first taste of the Sweet 16. Fourth year at Indiana State, bringing this team into the NCAA tournament for the second year in a row. And Mark Few in his second year with the Bulldogs did go to the Sweet 16 last year. This Bulldog club went to the Elite Eight the year before that. Out of the West Coast Conference, Ted Valentine, Bob Donato, and John Hughes, the officials. Gonzaga with an 86-85 win over fifth-seeded Virginia. That one went right down to the wire. Indiana State 70-68 over Oklahoma, the 4-seed, in overtime.
Nerves might play a little factor in this first 2 or 3 minutes of this basketball game. But you have to be ready to go right from the start.
It is Gonzaga wearing the white jersey, something they're not accustomed to, actually being a higher seed in a tournament game. It's never happened.
Different defensive set, too. Man-to-man, but Marcus Howard has the job.
Cavalry can't get it to drop. It's rebounded inside by Spink. On a dish-off, here's Stepp with a bank shot. Rims out, and rebounded by Conte for Indiana State. Menser on the dribble. On a pass-off, here's Howard inside. Conte couldn't get it to go.
There may be the nerves right off the bat. Both teams struggling just to get that ball to drop for them early.
Turning in, Cavalry, and he's called for steps. The role of Cinderella. That has been a question throughout this tournament, and neither one of these teams looked like a Cinderella in the first round. Indiana State obviously would still qualify. Gonzaga, forget about it.
Yeah, forget about that, and I think everybody now across the country is believing that.
Menser, book it for three.
Really had some problems in the first round, but now the key for him is to find that shot. He doesn't make many decisions badly for the turnovers, but if he can hit that outside shot, pretty good shape. Look at the double team. Every time Cavalry touches it, they're going to double.
But he finds the open man, and it's Gord who rocks the rim.
Gord could very well be the key to this basketball game for them, because if they're going to double down on Cavalry, he should be open. He should be able to get some offensive sets off the glass also.
3-2 Sycamores early going. Outside, Keelan Block busted up 3 of his teeth in the waning moments of regulation in their first-round victory over Oklahoma. And knocked out of bounds. They'll hold on to it, Indiana State.
Indiana State has to make some decisions. Watch the double team. You get the double here, but Cavalry very good. It actually turns into a triple team, but he finds the baseline pass. Beautiful execution.
You know, with Keelan Block, an emergency trip to the dentist, 3 fractured teeth. He runs back on the floor for overtime. And I think winning took some of the pain away after he played a huge role in that extra session.
And I spoke to Royce Waltman about him. He said he should be fine. He's not hurting right now, and he's very important for their slash offense.
Matt Wren on a kick out. Jumper, Howard, a 3.
Important to knock that shot down. His job is here at the defensive end.
But look at the other side of the floor. It's Cavalry with a slammer.
See, Dickau is so good at finding people also. And Cavalry, a big guy running straight down the middle of the floor. It's the quickest way to get down underneath the basket. A lot of times on breaks, you go out to the wings, but that time right to the middle was a good move.
6-4 Indiana State. Cavalry, by the way, had the putback with 9 seconds left that proved to be the difference in the win over Virginia. Wren off a dribble on a jump shot.
Showing a little ball fake also. And here they come again. Look at the push the tempo up and down the floor.
Cavalry on a dump inside. Mini hook for Zach Gord.
It's not spectacular, but it's steady and fundamentally sound. Gord is very good at just doing a few things very well on the floor.
8-6 Sycamores. On the outside, Menser. And they work the perimeter. Howard in a mismatch with Cavalry.
Nice defensive effort until the reach.
So Calvary called for the personal foul. The West Coast Conference Player of the Year comes in averaging 19 points and just under 7 rebounds per game.
And you touched on it just then. Sometimes we talk about the advantages in basketball. It's usually the tall guy against the small guy underneath. Well, the same applies if you get a small guy on the floor against a big guy.
Off the inbounds, Wren couldn't handle it. And out of bounds.
Wren usually catches that basketball right underneath the basket. Pretty good slice cut just then.
Matt Wren scored 16 of his 22 in the win over Oklahoma in the second half, and he did a lot of that damage at the free throw line. Dick out, lob, good look. Calvary, another dunk.
That's one way to avoid getting a terrific delivery away from the defensive player.
Second field goal for Casey Calvary. And we're tied at 8. Here's Howard, the freshman, on a bounce inside. Conte, extra feed, blocked on a turnaround. Conte, offensive rebound, and a wild shot, way off. Spink clears for Dickow. Look at him change speeds inside.
It's going to be before the shot just then.
So Dan Dickow on the acceleration of the rim of the foul call.
Watch this pass away from the basket defender here towards the basket. Calvary has to do one thing there. He has to hold his body still until the ball is in flight. But Dickow throws it right on the money, leading him towards the basket.
Marcus Howard, first foul. Hook shot. Calvary comes up short.
Well defended by Conte just then.
Here's block in transition. Howard on a crossover and steps.
See, I don't think the nerves, and I mentioned early on, the first trip both of these teams had going up and down the floor, they missed those little underneath shots. Right now, they look very composed, both of these teams. And Horace Waldman has his team pushing the ball a little bit for spots again.
Indiana State, 3 of 6 from the field early on. Gonzaga, 4 out of 7.
They're looking down low, aren't they?
They continue to work it underneath, and Gord gets another easy one.
He's going to be a factor. He's smart enough. There's 2 things going on here. Calvary is smart enough with the basketball to look and be patient. And Gord's just filling up spots. Find an open spot and track it to the middle of the floor.
Zach Gord now with 6 points. And it's 10-8 Gonzaga. Just over 4 minutes gone by here in the first half. You see the points in the paint. And Gonzaga has been able to control inside, and a steal.
Spink ran a nice matchup too. Defensive player of the year in the league, in the conference for them.
Spink off the dump down. Gord couldn't catch it. Tracked down by Menson.
Look at him looking for people to help.
Here's Wren taking it to the rim for the layup.
Beautiful play though by Menson just then. The way he looked and really got his range set in terms of what was happening on the floor.
Second field goal for Matt Wren. The freshman step, no. And the rebound to Conte. Quick lead feed. Here's block, open floor. And a foul called as Step was backpedaling, and he will pick up the foul. What about the role of Cinderella, Mark Few?
Obviously, if they're still talking about us and using terms like that, it means we're still playing. So that's a good thing. I personally don't think we're Cinderella. I think we've established ourselves as a great program these last 3 or 4 years. But you know, call us what you may or what you will, but it sure means that we're still out there and alive in this tournament. That's what it's all about.
You can look at it both sides, Jimmy. I think that you could consider it a compliment, that Cinderella term, because everybody rallies behind you, but you can see where Few is coming from. He feels that his program has finally arrived and shouldn't be classified.
And before the game, he said to me, Ian, he doesn't really care about that. They're recognizing him.
11-10, Indiana State with the lead in the first.
Exclusive coverage of the NCAA Basketball Championship is sponsored by Chevrolet, EMC, Invesco, and by Pepsi One.
Back in Memphis, Indiana State with an 11-10 lead on Gonzaga. 15-15 mark of the first half. Substitution as Alex Hernandez, the junior college transfer, coming off an excellent game in the first round, checks in. 15 points, 26 minutes, 5 of 9 shooting. Here's Step. Inside, Gord with a hook, and Gord is perfect. 4 of 4 from the field.
And no double team on Gord. You notice the difference when he catches the basketball. Calvary not on the floor right now, but when he was on the floor, double team. So good recognition by Gord.
Also, Terrence Avery into the game for Indiana State. Jumper from the side, doesn't go for Howard. And here comes Hernandez on the move. Cross court for Spink. Gonzaga leads by 1. Step tried to take the baseline and turns it over.
Ran enough of a factor just then. Didn't seal off the baseline totally, but good enough effort to make it difficult for Steph to turn the corner and get the shoulders around.
Each team with 3 turnovers as we approach 14 minutes to play first half.
A different look right now. The trap 1-2-2. Take a little time off the clock.
Matt Berry, a jumper, and he drains it for 3.
That's what picked that apart too. These guys are smart backcourt players. They just read and react.
Indiana State lost to Texas in the first round last year, so they weren't just content getting to the tournament this season. And now find themselves in a second round matchup with Gonzaga.
Oh, great pick.
Dickow had it knocked away, and a foul on Dickow after he lost the ball.
And that's the correct call also. Key play here defensively. Marcus Howard. Royce Waltman wants him to stick with Dickow, who exploded in the first half the other night. Great play, and you see that little reach from behind. Good call from the officials, and terrific defense from Marcus Howard.
Howard, who has improved a great deal down the stretch. A role player for now, but Royce Waltman feels down the line this freshman from Elgin, Illinois, is going to play a much bigger role. On a turnaround jumper, Avery off the mark.
No one on the offensive glass at all. Avery in particular falling away.
Dickow for Hernandez, knocked out of his hands and out of bounds. For a complete Sweet 16 preview, including in-depth head-to-head matchups and analysis, go to the internet's home of college basketball, cbs.sportsline.com, or AOL keyword CBS Sportsline.
Calvary back in the game, so let's look to see if they try to get the ball down low.
Kyle Bankhead has checked in for Gonzaga as well. Here's Gord, and he lost it.
Half a pass and half a fumble just then.
Matt Berry for Menser. 14-12, Indiana State leads it. Menser with Bankhead.
A little hop step.
Terrence Avery called for the travel.
It's a good thought process to deliver the ball towards the basket away from the defender, but unfortunately for Avery just then, a little skip as he went to the basket.
Keelan Block and Jabril Conte will check back in. And Wren will get a breather.
Conte with Calvary, so we'll watch that matchup. See what Avery does when he catches.
Dickow has been held in check so far. He went off in that first half of the first game, scoring 21 of his 29.
Menser is checking him now. He's trying to lose him on some screens. Here he comes.
Here's Dickow, 12 to shoot. Pull up.
Oh, that might, oof.
Almost a chance for 4 as that three-pointer rimmed off, but he will go to the free throw line and 3 attempts.
One of the things that makes Dickow a tough guy to defend is he's not only good with the basketball off the dribble, which we saw, but Mark Few has him running against and off a lot of screens. And that time it wasn't just the baseline cut. It was also in their flex cut where he came off the double screen up high also.
First foul on Menser. Look at Dan Dickow growing his hair in the style of one of his boyhood idols, Pistol Pete Maravich. Then his girlfriend put some streaks in it just for good measure.
Touch it up a little bit. Not a bad idol to have, though. If you recall, you may be too young to remember Pistol Pete, huh? He might be.
I think he might.
Great guy to, as a basketball player, one of the best offensive players in NCAA history, really, Pistol Pete Maravich.
You know, it's funny, we talk about the connection, Larry Bird to Indiana State. How many of these Indiana State actually remember Bird as a pro player? Jumper knocked down by Berry. A fellow freshman now has 6 on 2 3-pointers.
Menser has to be careful guarding Dickow also with the extra fouls.
Gord lobs it upstairs. Calvary with a bucket.
Well, they're just executing well. The high-low action is very, very nice. Calvary is really going quickly with the basketball, and if the pass is from Gord, Gord's man usually has been releasing, but that time a little late in Avery.
All tied up, 17-17.
Nice.
Off penetration, left-handed layup for Berry, and he's been impressive. Quickly the other way, and Hernandez lays it home.
Dickow is so good. That's after made baskets, by the way. They're coming at you quickly.
Pull-up pop. Keelan Block knocks it down.
Well, forget about the nerves of the NCAA tournament right now. These guys are playing as if this is a backyard basketball game.
Jimmy, get your points in quickly. Look at this pace.
Lord,
Calvary blocked by Conte.
Second guy in. There's some help. That's what they want to do. They want to run the action, double team, make some things happen defensively.
2-point Indiana State lead in a timeout. 11:41 left. First half.
to Memphis, everybody. If you want to know just how tough Indiana State's Keelan Block is, consider what happened to him at the end of regulation on Friday. A major collision with Hollis Price out of Oklahoma knocked 3 teeth straight out of his mouth. Not only did he come back into the game and essentially win it in overtime, he had emergency triple root canal surgery, couldn't speak, couldn't talk, couldn't eat on Saturday, but he's back in the lineup today. That is called tournament tough for Keelan Block.
All right, Brett, thank you very much. The travel called on Mark Spink. And just to tag that story, I think you have problems. Keelan Block has all the issues with his teeth. And then yesterday at the team luncheon, they served corn on the cob.
But not the normal way. You got to shave it off. That'll make it a little easier.
Like he was 3 years old. Off the turnover. Block had it knocked away. Dickow up the floor.
And that may be a kick ball before they go that way. Hold on a sec. Yeah, Ted Valentine's coming in. That's the call. It's a good one also. When Block lost that basketball, Mark Few was thinking, wait a minute, we got one off to the races here, and you're blowing the whistle. Watch for the kick. Flips, the ball comes out, right leg up, the ball gets kicked. That's a very good call, because it also saves a bucket for Indiana State going the other way.
Marcus Howard back in, and Matt Berry will get a breather. He has looked sharp early on. 2 state championships he won in high school out of Tulsa, Oklahoma. Both teams shooting the ball well, 62% from the field.
Good, strong double team, forces Dickow away from the basket.
Calvary finds the open man. Bankhead, a 3.
Calvary is doing exactly what he has to do. Find open people on the perimeter now. 4 assists for him early on.
And Gonzaga leads by 1, just under the 11-minute mark, first half. Catch and shoot, Michael Menzer. No. Rebounded by Spink.
Pretty good balance defensively, though, this trip.
Stick out, no-look feed, knocked up in the air. Here's Spink putting it on the floor. And the runner rims out. Knocked upside stairs, and Spink is fouled. It's before the shot. And Keelan Block getting the body, and he thought he had it initially.
I agree with you 100% there. He did, but remember, Spink is all over the basketball floor. He floats through the lane, trying to shoot that basketball, and it was up for grabs. Spink comes right back after it all the time.
Bankhead will toss in. 5th rebound for Spink. Here's Dickow trying to direct traffic. They showed the double team again.
Keeps getting it going north and south rather than east and west.
Calvary on a cross with Rand. Spin to the rim, and Conte, good help defense. Calvary gets it back and gets the roll.
Stay on the play until you get it to complete. You're right, though, about Conte. He's kind of roaming a little bit, trying to help out as much as possible. Calvary very good with his footwork, though.
8 points for Casey Calvary, and Gonzaga leads by 3. Here's Howard on a dish for Menzer. We will hit the midway point, first half. Howard defended by Hernandez. Shot clock at 12. Menzer one-on-one with Bankhead. Kick out. Howard, a 3.
Menzer brings 2 people to him. What the good point guards do, they wait, they're patient, they find shooters. Well done again on the perimeter by Howard.
24-24. Here's Bankhead looking over the top. Nice entry, but Spink couldn't handle it.
Ren with the defensive play, good left hand around.
And Block loses it off the dribble. Here's Dickow the other way. And a foul call. Offensive on Mark Spink, the senior.
His energy level down low, trying to get down the floor quickly. Gonzaga trying to do that pretty often. Get down and set themselves up, and you'll see here a little swipe away. Ren playing his basic, good, solid game of basketball. Spink at the other end, though. Just a little too aggressive there in that move to establish the interior low position.
Indiana State, 5 of 7 from 3-point range. Knotted up, 24-24. Half-court set for the Sycamores.
Not as quick motion offense as they normally put together.
Barry Welsh is checked in. Here's Ren on the drive. And the foul called on his way to the rim.
They lull you to sleep a little bit, don't they? They little cut, little pass, then all of a sudden somebody like a Ren, Menzer in particular, they lull you, then watch this cut to his left. He comes at you. Notice the shoulders just then. He tries to get the shoulders ahead of the defender. Once you have that positioning, the angle is all yours.
Second personal on Mark Spink. So he'll take a seat with 9:03 to play first half. A 12 versus a 13. You don't see it that often. On a kick out, Ren for Welch.
Way off, long.
Blake Stepp, the freshman, back in there for Gonzaga. Gord, he'll take the jump shot, and they give it to him. Back of the iron. And out of bounds. Who touched it last? Gonzaga.
You see, you have a situation just then where they're allowing him to shoot that basketball, and they're going to give Gord the shot from the free throw line because they don't want to allow that double team action. They want Calvary not touching the basketball, Indiana State, so they're going to allow him to shoot it from long range.
As mentioned, this team went to the NCAA tournament last year. We talked to Coach Waltman about it. He said this year's version of the Sycamores are better, and the experience has helped, despite the fact that their regular season left something to be desired. And their freshmen are stepping forward. Marcus Howard has 8.
You get into a good groove defensively playing Dick out early in this game, and he's started to shoot the ball pretty well, too.
Calvary finds the cutter, and it's Blake Stepp.
And Calvary's just doing everything properly with the basketball. That time, putting it on the floor. Each year, he has improved something in his game. Mark Few just loves the work abilities of him. Started as an athlete, has worked himself into a pretty good passer also.
26-26, under 8 minutes to play in the first half. Wren gives up the dribble off penetration by Block. Almost knocked towards the baseline, but Gonzaga able to control it with Stepp.
Guys are blowing pretty hard out there right now at the pace of this game.
Here's Hernandez looking for Stepp. As mentioned, Mintz are getting a breather. First time that he has sat down in this tournament to get a couple of minutes. As Bankhead picks up the personal foul. Mentzer will come back in when we come back. 7:29 to play. First half. Tied up.
Greg Gumbel and Clark Kellogg in our studios in New York. Indiana State and Gonzaga tied at 26. We'll get you back to Memphis in just a moment after we check in first in Kansas City, where people may be shaking their heads around the country, Clark, but Butler has a 3-point lead on the number 2 seed in the Midwest.
Well, they're a very aggressive team, especially defensively, and they've been a little quicker to the ball on their offensive glass. Arizona just has to slow down a bit and show more patience at the offensive end because they've got a huge advantage with Lauren Woods and Michael Wright inside. You see the turnover number there, both teams with 5 giveaways.
Lute Olson's team churning it over and Butler taking advantage of it. 7 points off those 5 turnovers, but they've been able to hold their own both inside and out against the Wildcats.
They're a very aggressive team. There you see Edgerson missing inside, rushed that attempt. And then Butler will push it ahead, but if they don't have something right away, that's Jordan from deep. Mark it down.
LaVall Jordan shooting very well as this game gets underway. Meanwhile, in New Orleans at the Louisiana Superdome, Temple and Florida are tied at 12. Now, Temple has been hitting the offensive glass hard, but haven't been able to convert anything off of it.
The key in this game will be, can Temple make a high enough percentage of their shots to be able to stay close in this game and possibly pull a surprise? When they shoot it well, you know they'll defend, and you know John Chaney's teams will not turn the ball over. If they make shots, they're hard to beat.
Meanwhile, in Dayton, the top seed in the Midwest, University of Illinois, with a 2-0 lead.
Both of these teams filling each other out a bit. It'll be a physical game, and if that's the case, Illinois has more big, strong bodies than just about any team in college playing, and Charlotte off the snide there with a quick shot.
One other note, Sergio McClain did start for the Illini, so he is in the lineup. He suffered a bruised right shin, and there was some question as to whether or not he'd be in the lineup. He said he would be, and he is, in fact, Illinois with an early 2-point lead on the 49ers.
Good man-to-man defense here by Charlotte. That's Brian Cook, big fella. Can do it inside and outside.
We'll keep track of that game and others for you. Meanwhile, let's get you back to Memphis, where Indiana State is battling Gonzaga. Iron Eagle, Jim Spinoza.
5:44 to play, first half. Missed by Dickow, with Indiana State leading Gonzaga 29-28 in the 12-13 matchup here in the South.
That was one of those baseline cuts for Dickow. He's just not hitting the shots he did the other day against Virginia.
Mintzer on a kick out for Berry. Inside, Avery wheels. Fadeaway, Avery. An uncontested rebound for Violet.
Now Calvary on the floor. They have not been going to the baseline. And look at the defense again by Marcus Howard.
Here's Howard waiting for his teammates, and Mintzer, the lob too high. for Avery and out of bounds. CBS Sports coverage of the entire NCAA basketball tournament is interactive through Ultimate TV. Close game here in Memphis, a 1-point Indiana State lead. Both teams are shooting it at 50% from the field. Well played.
It's been a well-played game so far, and it's also been an up-and-down type of game.
Long three, Menser off the rim. Knocked outside, and Menser is there near the midcourt line to pick it up. Keelan blocked. Rimming no on a three. And rebounded by Calvary.
They're getting their looks. They'll settle for those shots when they're wide open in the frantic play.
Dick out looking to get into a rhythm. Calvary to the bucket. Offensive foul. Wren took the hit.
Anytime you have a big guy who starts his dribble from the top of the key area, you know defensively guys have time to react. They have been in the air a little bit. Wren, though, very active defensively, making things happen for the Indiana State team.
10th turnover for Gonzaga, and the second personal on the senior Casey Calvary.
Good smart move, though, I think, by Mark Few. They only got about 30 seconds out of him just then, but I think you have to make a judgment under 5 minutes. You do not want him getting a careless foul and really ruining his mental edge for the second half.
Here come the Sycamores. Ran on a kick out. Menser ball fake. Block.
Notice the motion. Got it to travel down low, but the motion working pretty nicely. They drive to the basket, kick it out. Guys have to be ready to shoot that shot. They don't get many choices. Royce Walton talking about that before the game. I said, what are you going to do differently with this team that you're up against? He said, you know what? It's too late to make any real changes. He's pretty good at one-day adjustments, but just the adjustment of going after Calvary down low is his most important point.
Here's Dick out, forced to get rid of it. Excellent defense, and Gonzaga turns it over.
Block with the switch up defensively that trip. Dick out is really starting to struggle. Now, he does a lot of different things on the floor, so he has been, as you see Mark Few just tell him, settle down a little bit, get your head back into this basketball game. He does have a couple of assists already and running the show, but still, he's been shut down.
Part of the game story here, how close it has been. 5 ties, 10 lead changes. Conte draws contact and a blocking foul underneath. Called on Gore.
Now, that time, a quick look on it looked as if Gord had established position. You'll see how quickly this is one of the tougher calls in basketball for officials. Is he down? And he's got pretty good position right there. Maybe moving just a touch, but pretty good defensive. It's all carried by that left foot getting out and the shoulders squaring up, forcing the right angle on the baseline. And that gentleman right there, Mark Few, not very happy with the call.
Jabril Conte good on the first free throw, 63%. His first point. Does have 3 rebounds and 3 block shots. Injured his left ankle during the waning moments of that win over 5th-seeded Virginia. But was able to come back and return to help his team down the stretch. A timeout. Indiana State leads it 31-28, just under 4 minutes to play, first half. Indiana State 31, Gonzaga 28. This is second-round action from the South region in Memphis. And the Sycamores out of the Missouri Valley Conference. They went into their conference tournament as a 5 seed. Casey Calvary on the bench after picking up that foul.
Most important line on their stat sheet so far is he has 2 fouls. That's why Mark Few has him sitting on the bench right now. See if they can weather the storm a little bit here and get some scoring with him on the bench.
Trying to get it down low, and they just turned it over. Anthony Reason. His pass too high.
The set worked pretty nicely, too. Gord really wasn't moving towards the basket on that particular pass, but the set was there. That was a set play coming out of the timeout by Mark Few, trying to get one going towards the basket, which makes a whole lot of sense.
Gonzaga has turned it over their last 4 trips down the floor. Here's Block, giving it up for Matt Wren's jump shot.
Little pick and roll action up top, and Wren just flares to an open spot. That works primarily because you have 1 or 2 good sound dribbles with a purpose.
A 7-0 Sycamore run. They have their largest lead. It's 5. On the outside, Dick out.
He's got to find some action going. He's got to start scoring.
At 29 in the first game of this tournament. He's been held in check so far. Jumper doesn't go for Violet. On the interior, Reason able to clean it up.
Well, it's one way to get on the board, getting second opportunities. And An opportunity there where Reason just flat out worked people to get to the ball.
3-point game. Wren using the screen set by Conte now resets it with 20 to shoot.
They keep you working defensively, though, don't they?
Menser, quick release on a 3. Rebound fought for and taken by Reason.
See if they can get their transition game going a little bit better.
Dickow gives up the dribble. Step. He was online for a 3, but too short, and Violet can't handle it.
Shots not going down as easily as they were against Virginia early on, especially for Dickow.
Alex Hernandez will check in. In a 3-point game, Indiana State in front as we approach 2 minutes to play.
Hernandez is a good guy to have on the floor when you're struggling from the outside. He slashes like this.
Here's Block trying to break down the defense. And out of bounds. Anthony Reason, after a quick breather, will come back onto the floor. Pepsi game summary. Indiana State up by 3, rebounding. It's Gonzaga, but it's not showing up on the scoreboard necessarily.
And the points in the paint, that was early on.
Conte, good position, and comes up short.
Pretty good job, too, by Gordon. Not picking up a foul, just staying there, using the size and strength that he has to ward him off a bit.
Dickow, no-look feed. Ill-advised pass, picked off by Wren. Wren needs some help, and he finds it from his fellow senior, Michael Menser. Both from Southern Indiana. Menser from Batesville and Wren from Sellersburg. And traveling is called. Coming up, singular at the half, Greg Gumbel, Clark Kellogg will get you updated on all the tournament news, all the scores and highlights, plus a live look-in at all the action going on in the NCAA tournament. That's all coming up. Singular at the half. Indiana State turning it over for the 8th time. But they still lead it 33-30. A minute 40 to go and a timeout in Memphis. A sign for Matt Wren. We've seen some for Michael Menser as well. 2 popular players in Terre Haute, Indiana, but probably not the most popular Sycamores of all time. This man, Larry Bird, 1979, leading Indiana State to the NCAA tournament championship game before coming up short against Michigan State.
A guy named Magic Johnson, I think, was involved for that team. And interesting enough, with these kids on the floor ranging, what, from, say, 18 to 22 years of age, most of them really weren't born.
That's right.
Bird was doing his thing back then. And
a lot of them know him as the former coach of the Indiana Pacers, not even as a member of the Boston Celtics. Inside, Gord rims out. And Gonzaga struggling on offense here with a minute 20 to go in the first half.
Twice after timeouts, they have tried to get the ball down low, which is smart. They're just not getting shots to drop for them.
Here's Howard. Look on the inside for Avery.
Gord's defense pretty good again, just standing still, using the body.
Menser with a bounce. Avery kicked out. Wren had a notion, 10 to shoot.
They will work the clock, though. They're very patient in their half-court sets.
Under a minute left, first half. Menser ball fake on a dish. Doesn't go down for Avery, but a foul call.
Looked like Reason was just a touch late getting in there with this little slip defensively, going from left to right. But this is the patience of the offense, especially when you come down the lane. Look what happens. Defender goes this way. It allows for a step-in move, and Reason was coming from this side of the floor and just a little bit late getting there. So the rotation, a touch late, but that's really because of Menser's ability to dribble and penetrate.
Anthony Reason whistled for his first personal foul. There's Terrence Avery. Has had a more pronounced role for Indiana State this season with the injury to Brian Geeson. Earlier this year, Geeson was one of the big men off the bench. And it also shifted the role of Jabril Conte, who had been playing power forward, now playing center.
A little versatility. You have to have guys who can play multiple positions, though.
Sycamores lead by 5. Reason, the leader, doesn't get the roll, but a foul call.
Good strong move, though, by Reason, especially outside when he initiated the bump the first time going through the lane.
Now, coming up tonight on 60 Minutes, how does a Florida bean picker get to live like a king? By going to law school and becoming one of America's richest lawyers tonight on 60 Minutes. First foul called on Wren as Reason connects on the first free throw. We will see Jermaine Forbes check into the game to replace Dan Dickow with 39.8 left. Thought you might like this. Forbes' real first name is Duke.
Very nice. Thank you. I think they won again, didn't they? I'm not following the sense too closely, but I think they won against Missouri.
Heard some rumors. We'll talk about your Duke days in the second matchup with Michigan State. Here's Avery on a turnaround. And a friendly rim. 4 points for Avery. Indiana State leads at 37-32. Final 18 seconds of the first half.
Also have a foul to give if they get in trouble, if they want to use it.
Here's step for Gore. 10 seconds left. Step will put it on the floor with 7. Trying to create, and he turns it over. Mentor with 3 seconds. With 2. Mentor a pull-up. At the buzzer.
That was halfway down, that one.
Indiana State up 5, matching their largest lead. And at the end of one half, it's the 13th seeded Sycamores leading Gonzaga 37-32. Right now, let's check in with Brett Haber.
All right, Ian, thanks very much. Coach, they're getting their points inside, but you've got to be pleased with your defense. You've forced 14 turnovers.
Well, our kids have been very active. We've just given too many second shots. We just got to shore up that a little bit, and I think we got a chance.
All right, good luck in the second half. Ian?
All right, Brett, thank you very much. 37-32. Indiana State wins the lead on Gonzaga. Right now, let's go to New York and Greg Gumbel.
All right, Ian, thank you. And from Memphis, we'll take you to Kemper Arena in Kansas City, where they're in the final minute of the second round game in the Midwest. Butler of Arizona. Let's take you there.
Here, number of uncharacteristic errors.
How about that quick start, too? Wren just then, Ian, coming right down the floor. What do? They try to isolate Calvary, go right at him. That's number 3 on him. So you talk about a quick turning point in this basketball game. Smart decision by Wren.
Mark Few took Calvary out of the game with plenty of time left in the first half to avoid that third foul, and within the first 14 seconds he picks it up here in the second half.
It was just about the 5-minute mark to go back into that first half where he did pick up the second one, and I thought it was a good decision by Mark Few to get him out of there to avoid just what happened now.
Wren will get another free throw.
So he is an experienced player, though, and if it's a freshman or a sophomore, you may say, well, I better pull this kid out now. He's got to go with him, though, because he's a senior. He's been through the wars, especially the NCAA also.
Bridging the first and second half, Indiana State has gone on a 13-4 run. They have their largest lead, 7. Gonzaga first crack on the offensive end since halftime. Calvary, hard drive, big finish.
Has to open it up, too. Bring them the ability to bring somebody out on the floor. And he's good with the basketball with 1 or 2 quick dribbles, that time going along the baseline.
10 points for Casey Calvary. Wren fakes on a 3. Indiana State up by 5. First minute of play, second half for Memphis. Keelan block gives up the dribble.
Calvary now guarding Howard.
Inside. Jabril Conte lost it on the way up, but gets it back. And rejected. Spink came in as the second man through for the block.
Interesting enough just then, too, with Conte with the basketball, he didn't realize it was Calvary behind him, who's not going to do anything in that situation. He was just standing straight up. That allowed time, though, for Spink to get in there for the block.
9 seconds remain on the shot clock for Indiana State, leading 39-34.
I might get the ball to Marcus Howard with Calvary on him, see if he can dribble by him.
Mentor with 4. Mentor off the dribble. Knocked outside, shot up, and good! Marcus Howard just beats the shot clock. A 3-ball for Howard, or was it?
Looks like they're going to make a decision there. May have been on the line.
And Ted Valentine making sure of it. It will be a 2-pointer. So make it 41-34 Indiana State. A bang-bang situation.
Let's take a look. You see the clock. Look at the clock. There's 2, and he catches it. I believe the left foot was there. Forget about that. Indiana State gets a bucket.
7-point lead. Here's Step matched up with Menser.
They have to get things going towards the basket.
And they have to get it going for Dickow, the leaner. And he draws the foul on the freshman Howard.
We talked about Dickow in that first half this afternoon. Just did not be able to put things up as well as he did against Virginia.
18:24 to play. Second half. Indiana State, the 13th seed in the South, leading 12th seeded Gonzaga. 41-35 as Dickow makes that first free throw. 4 points for Dickow, who scored 29 in the first round victory over 5th-seeded Virginia.
And how about the first half he put up? 6 of 10 from the floor. He had 4 3-pointers, 5 of 5 at the free throw line against Virginia, and basically not even a factor in the first half in this ball game.
Indiana State made an adjustment defensively, going with Marcus Howard on Dickow, and he has played him tough. The freshman from Elgin, Illinois.
Not to mention giving him 13 points also, Marcus Howard.
On the pass from Howard, jumper red, knocks it down.
This is a team that's playing very confidently right now. They dictated the tempo in the first half, and they are continuing to do it 2 minutes deep here into the second half.
The winner here will meet the survivor of the Michigan State-Fresno State matchup later today at the Pyramid. And a foul called that stops play on Jabril Conte. That's his first.
And there's the step away for Red. Square it up. Good concentration, good extension on the shot. And we saw him do that in the first half also. A little flare to open spots.
Dickow gives up his dribble.
Fake and run double team.
The freshman step's been quiet. Knocked around and out of bounds. Gonzaga will hold on to a 26 to shoot. Hey America, Survivor is on this Wednesday. Don't miss America's most watched show, Survivor, on a special night, Wednesday at 8, 7 Central on CBS. Dickow, a pump fake.
Now look at the hands again.
And Howard takes it away.
Third strip.
In transition. Mentor backs it out, block penetration, dish off, and kicked off by Dickow.
Beautiful rotation there by Dickow to get the basketball back.
Dickow, though, turned it over for the 5th time on the offensive end. Spink, shovel shot, and a foul.
What's taking Dickow out of his offensive game is the defense. Watch the hands go to work right here. Good position, a little flick. Next thing you know, the ball's up for grabs. Marcus Howard so far has been the most important player on the floor for Indiana State.
Second foul on Matt Wren. And a new shot clock. Steph gives it up inside. Gold tried to get it to go with the left hand, and off the follow, it's banked home. Dan Dickow underneath the basket.
And give credit for Gordon, though, taking it to the bucket.
A 5-point game, Indiana State, as Alex Hernandez checks in for Gonzaga.
You know, it's a crazy thing, and Mark Few has seen Dickow play all season long. And one of the things about a guy struggling in a general sense, Ian, is when you're struggling from the outside, not getting good looks, and Howard has shut him down totally, not giving him many good looks, although picking up his 3rd foul. Dickow just saw the ball go through, albeit it was right underneath the basket. Let's see if he comes down now and starts to think differently, especially with Howard on the bench.
First field goal for Dickow. 3 minutes gone by here in the second half. They handle the pressure behind the back and maybe ill-advised with the razzle-dazzle.
When it doesn't work, it surely is.
Berry turned it over. Gord off the drive.
Gord's making some good decisions, though. It closed up on him, willing to give the ball up.
Dickow. They back off. Double coverage for a moment. Gets it inside. Spink, contact, layup, no. Rebound underneath. And Hernandez lays it home. He was a spark off the bench in their first round win over the Cavaliers.
That's a decision Royce Walton's going to have to make some changes, though, too. Twice in the last 2 consecutive possessions, they've gotten follow-up. Zags go back to their zone to protect the foul problems a little bit. Force this game out. Stop with the perimeter jump shots and not allow them to zag and cut to the basket.
A 2-point lead for Indiana State. There's a cut. Ran. Rejected by Gould. Spink with a bounce ahead for Hernandez. Challenging Menser to the bucket. Floater. Gets the roll.
Different game all of a sudden. You've watched basketball for 1 minute, you can tell this momentum has now shifted back. The Zags are playing this game the way they want, and that's why Royce Walton wants to talk things over.
No one inside the pyramid thought for a moment that Gonzaga would go away quietly.
That's for sure.
And we're tied at 43. A 7-0 run for the Zags. Second half action. All knotted up, 43-43 here in Memphis. The Army tournament summary, games decided by 4 points or less. First round 12, yesterday only 1, so things changing a bit here in the 2001 NCAA tournament. This happens to be a close one. And Marcus Howard has come back onto the floor for Indiana State.
Shows you how much confidence his coach has in a freshman.
A bomb for 3, Menser, no. Ran underneath, and a jump ball that's going the other way. Possession arrow favors Gonzaga. Full time. timeout with 15:40 to go in regulation. 43-43. Gonzaga looking to make their third consecutive appearance in the Sweet 16. And they're on a 7-0 run. Keep in mind, in their win over Virginia, they had runs of 10-0, 8-0, and 12-0.
And I think Mark Few is right now thinking when and if Dickow can get unleashed a little bit. He's got so much confidence in him, and I spoke to him yesterday a little bit. He said, you know, Dickow's confidence level, he never gets down, and he's always a prime suspect to let one rip just when you don't think he's going to shoot it.
This has been a tight one throughout. Gord gives up his dribble. Dickow looking to the interior. Defended by Block. They've made the switch off with Howard now matched up with Hernandez. Howard with 3 personal fouls. Dickow pump fake around Red. Baseline. Did he get it? He did. And it's waved off.
It's off. They may go the other way with that.
Offensive foul on Dickow.
I think that's a proper call also, too. Dickow is the type of guy, like I just mentioned, will try to get a shot off. But watch him at the end here. He forces the action. That's the proper call. Good call by Ted Valentine along the baseline. It's a good, smart move, though, by Dickow, trying to create opportunities as a scorer would and the scoring mentality.
Indiana State trying to snap a 7-0 Bulldog run. Menser looks down low, gets it back from Wren, and a 3. Off the rim, long rebound to Dickow. Here's Dickow. Hard to the hole, left-handed layup, no.
I'm having trouble hearing the whistle blow here, aren't you?
A foul called, and Valentine now leans over towards the scorer's table. Matt Wren picks up his 3rd. So free throws for Dickow. And the 15th foul on Indiana State. Gonzaga with only 2.
That was a smart play by Dickow also. You figure as a player coming down, Royce Waltman's team just picked up an offensive foul on Dickman, and he's thinking coming down the floor, what are the chances of getting another foul going towards the big basket? Dickow pretty smart just then to come at him.
10 of 10 at the free throw line, Gonzaga. And they lead by 2.
2-2-1, little turnover, careless play, really an unforced error out front.
Indiana State, they've lost that flow they had in the first half as Calvary comes back in to replace Gord, who gave Mark Few some quality minutes.
The thing about it now is I think they'll try to touch Calvary with the basketball, but you don't want to do it right away because he's just getting off the floor. We're getting an offensive move again, to illegal screen.
So this one will go the other way, and Indiana State takes over.
Number 23, Mark Smith, his 3rd personal foul. Also the 3rd team foul against the Bulldogs.
14:31 to play in the second half. 12th seeded Gonzaga leading 13th seeded Indiana State here in the South. Sycamore's basketball, close one basically from start to finish. Indiana State was able to pull away just a bit, but Gonzaga answering back early moments of the second half, and Indiana State turns it over.
Zags are getting back to controlling the tempo, where in the first half, I'd say 75% of the first half was dictated by Indiana State.
Bulldogs are on a 9-0 run. Dickow underneath. Back door. The follow doesn't go for Hernandez.
And a good catch up high by Hernandez. It never brought the ball down. Unfortunate that he couldn't get the drop for him.
Menser using the Wren screen.
Backdoor.
There's the cut. Wren underneath. And a foul. Hernandez came over to help Spink.
Oh, do they ever know how to play that solid basketball? Menser and Wren been doing it. Watch the cut. It's going to come right through the middle. Little flare. Wren with the catch. Had actually lost that basketball. Fortunate to regather it.
Matt Wren, 68% of the free throw line this season. Wren and Menser have been such a big part of this Sycamore's program. They are roommates. Wren is 3 days older than Menser. Both have GPAs right around 3.7, and both Southern Indiana products. And they came to Indiana State with hopes of rebuilding the program. They've done exactly that, back-to-back NCAA tournament appearances.
Yeah, 2 kids that really bring that name student athlete to the forefront.
Upstairs, Calvary. And a push.
Maybe Wren from behind.
No, it'll be Conte picking up his second.
Both of them in on the play, and Calvary's the guy that they have to try to get involved. Zags offensively. Get him some touches because he's good enough to pass.
16 fouls now on Indiana State, and a side out. Steph gets it in. Couldn't get it back, knocked out of bounds. And last touch by Menser with 13:35 to play here in the second half. Indiana State with a win over Oklahoma in the opening round, 70-68 in overtime. Gonzaga knocked off Virginia, 86-85. Mason, Roger Mason Jr., the Cavaliers missing a shot. Down the stretch.
Spink with the grab right there from behind.
And that's his fourth foul. Mark Spink, a little bit over-aggressive.
Defensively stepping out to the perimeter. Spink will exit with his fourth foul. He was just trying to stop a breakaway bucket.
A lot more stop and start here in the second half.
Right.
First half, they were going up and down the floor.
There was a good pace, too, for both teams, and you're right, it's getting a little...
Menser, a three.
A little more calculated going up right now. More methodical with both teams trying to attack.
And a foul assessed on the floor, and that will put Gonzaga in the bonus. 17th foul on Indiana State.
Avery away from the play then, picking up a foul.
And that's Terrence Avery's first.
Well, there's that little flare cut. Menser with the good stroke from long range. It's just a half-court sets. They will run the sets. Both of these teams will. Indiana State, though, with their motion offense and flares, usually get pretty good shots.
Good. On the front end of a 1-and-1, now has 9 points. That's better than his season average to go along with 6 rebounds. He put up good numbers in the first-round win over Virginia. And he can cut the Indiana State lead to 1. Off the rim, rebounded by Wren. Memphis was underdog central in the first round, at least in the first 2 games, with these 2 teams moving on. And then Michigan State and Fresno State, who will match up in the second half of this doubleheader.
The Zags are in a defense now, a zone.
Block, a pull-up. No good. Rebound underneath. Howard had it knocked away. And Gord able to pick it up.
Gord just playing some solid minutes again.
Dickow stop and go on a kick out. And it's tracked down.
Gord was a factor offensively in the first half.
Inside, it's Gord. Nice move to the rim.
See, that's what he does so well, though, Ian. He's so composed when he gets the ball. He's not looking to do anything fancy. He's learned how to use his footwork very well. And when he catches it, he's under control and makes a good, solid move.
Fundamentally sound in the pivot. Straight away, 3, Howard. He has had a hot hand. The freshman knocks down another.
What an afternoon. Point number 16 for him, but he's gotten all good looks around the perimeter.
4 out of 5 from 3-point range. Back in. Gord, a hook. Fading away from the rim, and it's rebounded by Avery.
That's what cost him. He's coming out of there holding his hand, too. He may have gotten smacked a little bit.
Mentor pushing. Howard steps into a 3. No good. And rebounded by Gord. Pull-up pop doesn't go for Dickow. And with 11:34 remaining second half, Indiana State holding on to a 3-point lead. And a whistle stops play.
Mark Few wants to talk things over.
Sleeper versus sleeper. It's the Sycamores in front. Indiana State with a 51-48 lead here in Memphis as we take a look at our Nortel game summary with 11:32 remaining. Rebounding, that has gone in the favor of Gonzaga, but it has not hurt Indiana State on the scoreboard. They've been able to knock down their long-distance jump shots.
I think Dickow's going to have to get more involved. Let's see if Calvary can get some touches also on the blocks.
Here's Gord on a back end. Kick out. Calvary knocks down a 3.
A lot of times you see the outside guys kick it to the inside guys. How about the high-low there? It's a little bit of a reverse. Usually you see it go from high to low. That was low to high for a wide-open jumper.
13 points for Calvary, and we are tied at 51. Out on the perimeter, a pump fake from Howard. Mentor trying to get it down low, and it's knocked away by Dickow.
You don't see that too often. He usually delivers that. Even though it's a long pass, that's what he generally completes. This little reverse high-low. Gord up high, Calvary down low now.
Kyle Bankhead, the freshman, gets rid of it. Dickow to the rim.
That may go against Gord, though, I believe. Was he moving?
You got it. Zach Gord moving on that screen, and a timeout. They turn it over with 10:46 to play in a tie ball game. Back at the Pyramid in Memphis, 51-51, Indiana State Gonzaga. Monday on CBS, what's worse than an annoying father-in-law? Losing your annoying father-in-law. The manhunt begins an all-new King of Queens Monday on CBS. Unfamiliar role as a favorite for Gonzaga. They are not used to having all eyes upon them where they're expected to win. They're actually wearing their home white jerseys for the first time in NCAA tournament play because they're a higher seed.
And right before the game, we were talking to Mark Few about that thing. He said, you know what, we haven't won a lot of big games in our white uniforms. So here's a big game, and they have to start getting the ball to their scores, Calvary in particular.
Bulldogs, though, have turned it over 18 times. Indiana State ball inside and knocked away. Block-off penetration for a pull-up. And the rebound taken by Hernandez. We approach the midway point, second half. 51-51. Calvary into the hands of Dickow.
They've been effective trying to get Gord and Calvary involved high-low. Here's the lob, looking for the lob, well defended by Avery just then.
Dickow looking to the interior. 9:53 to play, second half. All tied up at 51. Calvary on a kick-out, backhand. Rims in on a three.
That's where the supporters have to be willing to shoot shots because everybody in this building is thinking it's going to be Calvary and Dickow. It's the other three guys on the floor who are probably going to make important shots in this game for the Zags going down the stretch.
And Gonzaga back in front, 54-51. Out on the perimeter. Howard, who scored his career high, 14 on a giveaway to Dickow.
Up in the air, he gets mistakes.
Here's Dickow, straight to the rim for the University of Washington transfer. And he has gotten into the rhythm offensively here in the second half.
Might be a time to talk things over. It's a steady, slow-paced game, and all of a sudden it's totally back into the Zags' favor momentum-wise.
8-0 run for the Bulldogs, and they lead it 56-51, second half. Gonzaga up by 5 with 9:09 to play in the second half. They come into the tournament as a number 12 seed out of the West Coast Conference. 25-6 overall, 13-1 in conference play. Indiana State, meanwhile, 22-11, 13th seed out of the Missouri Valley Conference. And they won that conference tournament as a number 5 seed. Mentor trying to answer, and he does for 3.
That's a big-time answer because of two reasons. Number one, the Zags floating back into their zone, forcing it to the perimeter. Number two, it takes a little steam out of their run just then.
Bulldogs lead by 2. On the outside, they give that shot to Calvary, and he knocks it down. A three-pointer straight away.
You think of him, he's going to step inside. He is now stepping outside, and it's also opening up the paint area. Watch for a drive or two at the other end also.
16 points for Calvary.
Good cut.
Ran on a kick-out. Mentor, other side.
This is starting to get to be fun, huh? Up and down again. Here we go.
12 points for Michael Mentor.
We saw some of this in the first half. It was the up and down tempo. It kind of got methodical, and now all of a sudden back to going up and down.
Gonzaga leads by 2 on a bounce inside. Turnaround. Calvary is fouled. Jabril Conte trying to defend him on the baseline.
You know, Calvary just looking. Where's the defender? Conte got hung up on the screen. Wide open shot. And Indiana State comes right back down the floor and knocks one back for Mentor. Great answer.
Third foul on Conte, the junior from Bloomington, Indiana. And free throws for Calvary.
I love the story I am too with Calvary when they won to their banquet for the all-conference awards they won. He was Player of the Year, Spink Defensive Player of the Year, Coach of the Year, Mark Few. They all showed up in shirts and ties and suits, and they weren't forced to, this team. And Calvary got there, and he didn't even own a suit. You wonder, well, where did he get the suit? He borrowed it from Gord. So a team that's really on and off the floor, well-disciplined team.
Rumor has it there have only been about 5 suits in the program. They keep rotating them over the last 4 or 5 years.
I think I remember stories like that when I was back in school.
Gonzaga up by 3, under 8 minutes to play.
I'm sure they dress a little better than I did back then.
Oh, that's for sure. Ran a 3. Got it!
Well, both teams are just stepping up right now. That's just what it's all about. Both of these teams want to go to the next game and next site.
60 apiece. Dickow hanging and hits.
And you know what's interesting too? The good players are starting to step it up also. But keep in mind, role players probably will still be a focus at both ends.
13 for Dickow. Ran on a kick out. Jumper from the side. Does not go for Barry. And a loose ball foul as Dickow went lunging. He was pushed. Matt Wren has picked up his 4th foul, and it comes at the 7:23 mark, second half.
Long shots generally kick out long. Guards have to stick around, and Dickow does just that and ends up at the free throw line.
And decision time for Royce Waldman. They cannot afford to lose Wren.
Dickow has knocked back 8 in a row.
Tack on another. 63-60 Gonzaga.
86% free throw shooter on the line, so Mark Few can settle with him right there all afternoon.
Dan Dickow hits on both. 10 out of 10. 7:23 to play in the second half. Gonzaga 64, Indiana State 60. We'll come back to Memphis. Tell you all about it in a moment.
A tradition unlike...
Second round action in the South region. 12th seeded Gonzaga leading 13th seeded Indiana State 64-60, and Dan Dickow has turned it on here in the second half. Different story than what we saw in the first round matchup with Virginia.
Against Virginia, he lit it up in the first half with 21 in there, and now he's role reversal in the second half of this basketball game.
Off the timeout, Gonzaga with a 4-point lead. Indiana State basketball. Menser gets it inside. Conte met there on a foul as Hernandez came over to help.
One thing that has impressed me with the Indiana State basketball team, when they've had problems and they need a score, look at this post-up move right here. He slips to the baseline side. Terrific delivery. He'll go to the line, shooting only 62% on the season. But the key thing is that they've gotten good looks, and the Zags have made that little run.
Jabril Conte will hit some big free throws in the first round game, a win over Oklahoma. They've knocked off the number 4 seed here in the South region. And Indiana State now is a team 11 of 12 at the free throw line. Both teams shooting it well there.
Both teams are really playing well, too, and answering each other's challenge, especially offensively.
64-62, Gonzaga in front. A battle of sleepers here in Memphis.
Oh, got away with that one just then. 19
points for the West Coast Conference Player of the Year, Casey Calvary. Indiana State grabbed some momentum in the first half, but Gonzaga, when they came back from the halftime break, they looked like a different team.
Calvary guarding Marcus Howard. I think he has to get a little more active and try to challenge him off the dribble.
Howard, a career high 16 for the freshman. Inside, Conte on a kick out. Good look for Howard. And rebounded by Conte. Reset.
That's a big time traffic rebound.
Wren playing with 4 fouls. And Menser can reset it as we approach 6 minutes to play in the second half. Winner will move on to Atlanta. Long 3 for Menser.
Oh, is he ever stepping up? He has taken 11 shots in this basketball game, and guess where they've all come from? Long range.
5th three-pointer for Michael Menser. He's got 15 overall. 66-65. Bulldogs. Calvary.
Look at the help.
Here's Gord on the inside trying to use the body and leans in for 2.
Wren kind of cheated a little bit. Look at the double team Calvary. That's how they started this basketball game, running at Calvary. Nice recognition, though, by the big fella. He has 6 assists. Calvary had 5 in the first half.
And Gord has 13. Gonzaga leads by 3.
See if they get a good shot again. They've been very steady with getting good shots after buckets.
Wren had it knocked away by Hernandez out of bounds, and the shot clock at 16. 5:20 left on the game clock. Michigan State, Fresno State waiting. They will play in the second half of this doubleheader as the Spartans try to continue their run to a title. Menser fading away, and Gord able to clean it up off the window.
He really catches and shoots very quickly. Just a touch short because he was falling away from the basket that last trip. Nearly went down if it had another inch of height on it.
Here's Hernandez on the perimeter. We hit 5 minutes left in Memphis.
Calvary's almost playing like a point forward out there. I am just looking at the situation, trying to pass the ball past people.
Dickow deliberate with 10 to shoot. Defended by Howard.
Good job on him all afternoon.
Off the double team, Menser goes for the steal. Out of the corner, fake edge jumper, rims out, and knocked over to Calvary. Dickow, no-look feed, baseline. And a deuce for Hernandez.
And Wren had to step away just then also with 4 fouls. Could not be a factor in the challenge.
70-65 Gonzaga. Here's Wren way outside. Good cut by Block on a bounce. Conte trying to take the baseline. He stepped on it. Out of bounds, Jabril Conte. Indiana State turns it over, and Royce Waltman was saying that there was a push underneath the basket.
It may have gotten him going in that direction. He may not be far off with that one right there. Conte, that's the reason he went that way. And you see that little hand inflection there with the push? I think he may have been correct on that one.
70-65. Gonzaga has controlled the inside. They tried the alley-oop. And a foul called as Calvary made that cut towards the bucket.
Conte on that call, too. What appeared to be pretty good interior position, too, with the lob.
And Calvary goes to the free throw line. Conte with his 4th foul. Casey Calvary. He got the follow-up bucket that put Gonzaga in front by 1 over Virginia, and they held on for the victory. 20 points for Calvary, and Conte will head to the bench, replaced by Terrence Avery. Tough-minded on the inside, a soft shooting touch, and Calvary knocks down a pair. Gonzaga has their largest lead. 4 minutes to play, 72-65.
Indiana State has not been going towards the basket too much in the last few minutes. Let's see if they can go towards it now.
Keelan Block on a kick-out. Howard couldn't gather in cleanly.
They're looking to bring the defense into the paint.
Avery blocked on the inside by Gould. And here's Dickow slowing it down. He gets instructions from his head coach, Mark Few.
This is where you want to be very patient now. The Zags have to run their sets, look for a little dump down or a backdoor cut.
There's the lob, and Calvary is fouled.
Good work by Gord. Gord continues to give good minutes as a role player out there. Calvary just holding his player down on the blocks. Well done, well executed. You got to knock back your free throws.
And free throws for Calvary. CBS Sports coverage of the entire NCAA basketball tournament is interactive through Ultimate TV. Casey Calvary, 60% on the season from the free throw line, and he hits on the first. Now has 22 points. And he is 4 of 5 at the line here today. Gonzaga extending the lead. And Calvary can't bring it to 9, but an offensive rebound for Hernandez. Dickow had a notion, but they'll slow it down as we approach 3 minutes to play.
Mark Few signals to get motion, move without the basketball, keep it alive. Try to get something going towards the basket if you can first, and then kick out for your shots.
7-0 run for Gonzaga, giving them their largest cushion, 73-65. Here's Bankhead.
Taking a lot of time off the clock, down to 10 now.
Calvary will put it on the floor. Penetration, the leader. Casey Calvary is taking over.
Big-time player in their league, big-time player this afternoon. He's taken over the last 2 or 3 minutes of this basketball game.
Indiana State wants a timeout. The lead has hit double digits with 2:52 to go. Gonzaga up by 10. Gonzaga's second half has shot the ball 67% from the field, and they now lead this game 75-65 with 2:52 to play.
Don't count Indiana State out. They don't have any quit in them. Speaking with Royce Waltman before the game, he was happy that this team came out and had a good win under their belt the other day because he felt that guys like Mensah and Wren ended their careers at a high note.
There's Mensah off the rim, and things slipping away now from the Sycamores. They trailed by as many as 13 in the second half and came back to beat Oklahoma in overtime in their first-round game.
Keep in mind, Dickow has hit 10 out of 10 free throws, and that's why he had the basketball just then, and that's why he'll go to the line again.
Dickow has 16 overall, and Gonzaga in the double bonus. 2 free throws for Dan Dickow. Replaced Matt Santangelo in the point guard spot after Santangelo graduated. And Dickow, who had to sit out a year after transferring from Washington, was able to learn a great deal about how to run what Mark Few wants to run. His system. You know, if you told us that this is a very close team, they all have keys to the locker room and they have the security code to the gym, they'll be shooting there at sometimes 10:30 at night. 77-65 Gonzaga. Zags are up 12 as we take a look at our CBS Sportsline stat of the game, and points in the paint. Dominant performance for the Bulldogs on the interior. For complete tournament coverage, go to cbs.sportsline.com.
Indiana State shooting the ball from long range this afternoon, taking more threes than twos, actually.
Block's been quiet, and he gets that intermediate jump shot to go.
And when press comes, you're just going to really take a whole bunch of chances right here.
Only 5 points for Keelan Block. And they handle the pressure with ease. Gonzaga on the attack with Hernandez leaning in for the deuce.
Actually lost the basketball for just a touch right then, but regathered.
10 points for the junior college transfer, Alex Hernandez. Indiana State working in a hurry. Sets the feet. Howard at 3. Off the mark. And rebounded by Dickow. 1:50 to go. Long lead pass, and Gord drops the rim. Gonzaga in complete control. Mark Few's wife, Marcy, and 14-month-old son, AJ, enjoying this one with 1:36 to play. It looks like Gonzaga is headed to Atlanta. Mensah short on a 3.
Under control the last 4.5 minutes. From about the 6-minute mark, 7-minute mark, down to this point, the Zags really took control of this basketball game, hit big shots, and I thought executed very, very smartly, especially using Calvary both inside and out.
Indiana State not fouling with 1:10 left. And Gonzaga will just continue to use clock. 10 to shoot. Dickow. Leaning in for 2.
Big response by Dickow in the second half of this basketball game. He was a non-factor in the first. Brett Haber talked to Mark Few at the halftime and said he told him to just relax a little bit, go out and play your game, and guess what? That worked.
A gorgeous finger roll gives him 20 as Calvary blocks the shot from Howard. And for Indiana State, what a season for Royce Waltman. Their best run in the NCAA tournament since Larry Bird in 1979. Back-to-back tournament appearances for Indiana State, losing to Texas in the first round last year. So they are 47.9 seconds away from heading back to Terre Haute, Indiana. Gonzaga 58% from the floor today. Wren gets fouled, and he will shoot a pair. Well, coming up tonight on 60 Minutes, how does a Florida bean picker get to live like a king? By going to law school and becoming one of America's richest lawyers. Tonight on 60 Minutes, followed by an all-new Touch by an Angel, then Academy Award winner Louis Gossett Jr. and Robert Urich star CBS Sunday movie The Love of Olivia. It's all here. Don't miss it tonight on CBS. Jimmy Trico has checked in for Gonzaga along with Jay Sherrill. Mark Few getting some of his reserves into the game so they can get a taste of NCAA tournament play with 42.4 left.
Double team, they no quit though. Indiana State well coached.
And a potential third-round matchup with the defending national champions, depending upon what happens later on today with Michigan State and Fresno State. Gonzaga has been called giant killers in the past. Well, that would be the ultimate giant.
They've been called a lot of different things in the past. It's starting to shape up as winners right now.
So we'll move Gonzaga on. The 12th seed advancing. Michigan State, Fresno State coming up. Hernandez, 10 points, making 11 now, 7 rebounds. And Gonzaga will pull away. Calvary is done for the day. He heads to the bench, replaced by Corey Violet. 24 points for the senior, 7 assists, and 4 boards.
That was the tempo setter early in this basketball game. Gord got some offensive efficiencies down the beginning of the game, and that was because Calvary, very unselfish, was passing the basketball early.
Mensah a 3, no. And rebounded by Hernandez. Shot clock turned off. 20 seconds left here in Memphis.
This is a team that was on the ropes a little bit, and they responded.
Game was tied at 60, and Gonzaga ends the game on a 25-8 run. Make it 3 straight appearances in the Sweet 16 for Gonzaga. It's over at the Pyramid. They hold off upstart Indiana State, and they win it going away. 85-68. For a while there, you thought maybe the Sycamores were going to give the Bulldogs a taste of their own medicine with that underdog Cinderella role. It was not to be. Chevrolet most valuable players in the game. Marcus Howard, the freshman, 16 for the Sycamores. Casey Calvary, 24 points to lead Mark Few's Bulldogs. So for Jim Spadarko and Brett Haber, this is Ian Eagle saying so long from the Pyramid in Memphis. 85-68 the final. Gonzaga wins it. More coming up. Greg Humble and Clark Kellogg in New York when we return.